Hi, everyone. Welcome to another featured interview by Atlas Society, where our mission is to accelerate the growth of impact startups through fundraising, marketing, networking, and mentorship. And today we are talking to Darren and Harry from Lyght. And Lyght enables any individual to participate in solar projects and generate a financial return. Darren, Harry, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having
Okay.
us.
Great. So I think let's start off with a brief background of the two of you and what led you to start Lyght.
Well, I'll go first. I'm from Singapore, so I come from a computer science background. So I've always been into tech, and I got into fintech. And I was thinking, well, is there something that I could do with my knowledge on, technology and finance that could actually help people, help the society, help environment. And we were lucky to meet one of our co-founders, who is into solar, and we realized that actually the nature of a solar asset, it generates green energy, and at the same time, there is a very stable repayment source, and we should actually structure this into a long-term fixed income asset that we could open it up to the retail investors. Yeah, and that's how we came to the idea of Lyght was born. Yeah, yeah. That at least that is for me. Maybe Harry, you can share
Yeah.
your story as well.
Hi, I'm Harry. I'm from Taiwan. I graduated in Taiwan, and after graduation, I started my own startup. So I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur myself. I came from an economic background, and when I see this kind of product, right, this concept of impact investing, it came to me that it's always been a question between people. They're asking when they how are they going to make impact as well, in the meantime making good financial return. And in before in all the theories in economics, it's impossible, but now we find it should be, it's something that should exist. So when we first found out about these assets, and when we know the nature of it, we think, hey, this is a good opportunity to actually make an impact to the society, and maybe in the future, in a way, we can change the mindset when people talk about investing.
That's really interesting, Darren. You said you came from a finance background, and what also piqued my interest about this project is how you're structuring it like a fixed income, where you've turned this into a product where it generates a long-term return for the investor, right? So actually, let's go straight into the model here on how the product itself works.
All right. So Lyght is very simple. We are actually just a platform. So we match solar assets with with retail investors who are interested in investing. So the nature of the solar asset right now, at least in Taiwan. So let's say you have a solar producing project, yeah, and it generates electricity. And the first question that you ask, who is purchasing the electricity, the green electricity? So it's actually purchased by Taipower, which is the utility company in Taiwan. So the government purchased green energy from green energy producing projects at a premium. And this is actually backed by a 20 years contract. So let's say if today we sign a contract and it's actually very stable. So for example, for every kilowatt hour of green energy produced, they pay, let's say, 4.5 Taiwan dollars. Yeah. So, and this is a fixed price for 20 years. So that gives this solar asset a very stable repayment source. And as long as there's green energy produced, someone, Taipower is going to honor the agreement and to pay for it. So with such a strong repayment ability of this asset, we found that actually it fits the nature of a long-term fixed income. And because the return is really slightly higher than the typical long-term fixed income asset, like let's say a fixed deposit, a bond, a note, or even just a savings plan, yeah, insurance plan. So it gives a retail investor access to a very long-term stable product, and at the same time you get above market average returns. Yeah, so that's exactly the nature of a solar asset, and we put it onto Lyght, where anyone could come in to take a look at the asset, make an informed decision. We provide all the supporting documents. You can actually go through to look at the returns, and we allow every individual to, select the number of panels that they like. So if let's say a solar asset has 1,000 panels, and it depends on their risk and return appetite. If they just want 5 or 10 panels, that's possible. So you could scale it according to the amount of panels, which in terms means the amount of capital that you have. So it's actually very flexible. Yeah. So in that case, we allow any individual with the ability, with just 5 panels, 10 panels, you can actually be part of to enjoy the returns of a solar asset. Yeah, so this essentially what Lyght is doing.
Sounds like solar bonds, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I think about a product like bonds, I somewhat have a finance background too. Like a lot of it, okay, you talk about the coupon. I guess so. This would be a two-part question then. So what is the coupon on it? And also when you talk about a bond, there's the risk of the bond itself, right? Whether it's a, B, or whatever, right? The risk level. So could you talk about that aspect of the product?
Sure. So the way we structure Lyght is a little bit different, in the sense that because we are based in Taiwan. So for a fintech startup like us, if we were to issue a bond, a security per se, that is not allowed because we do not have a security license. So for Lyght, we actually, because within our team, a co-founding team, we do have 4 lawyers. So at the start, and because I have my prior knowledge in Taiwan in finance, we structure it in a way that is actually a sales and leaseback model. Meaning, if today Harry purchased, he wants to participate in 10 panels. So how do we facilitate this thing? So the first step is that Harry purchased the 10 panels. So the panels belongs exactly to Harry. Okay. And when he owns the panels, he leases it back to the solar asset to put it on that roof or that piece of land to produce energy. So in summary, Harry receives a rental payment for his investment. So that's in the way that we found a very simple and silly way to not become a security. So we're not actually issuing a security or certificate that says you are entitled to a right, but actually you do own that individual panel. And every single panel, you actually own that panel, and you put it onto that asset, and you enjoy a rental return. Wow. So that's the very simple way that we do it. And because and you were talking about the risk. Yeah. So all projects do have risk. So the major risk about the repayment is covered because the agreement is solid, backed by a government utility company. And the only risk that we see here is that if that solar asset does not produce energy. So what circumstances does that happen? So in the event when there is a disaster, let's say in Taiwan, there's a constant earthquake or typhoon, or just people throwing stuff at the panels. Now that doesn't really happen that much. So in the case of a lightning, incident or typhoon, but that's the only risk. And for us, what we do, we secure this asset by having insurance. So we do have the electrical component insurance, and we do have the business interruption insurance. So in the case where that panel or 10 panels, 20 panels are spoiled, are destroyed in the earthquake, the insurance will kick in to actually do the replacement of all the panels and all the electrical components to get it up to electrical generation stage. And then in the event that it takes 5 days to fix this whole asset, the business interruption insurance will kick in. So we do have all this insurance covered there. And for Lyght, that's what we do. We try our best to secure the asset to further make sure that the O&M, operation and maintenance, are maintained so that the electrical efficiency is maintained at least 95%. So we we are the asset manager of that asset. We make sure that the O&M companies do fulfill their obligations to maintain the asset performance. So in that case, we reduce the risk of non-performing asset.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So how long has Lyght been operational, and how has the performance been since then?
Well, we started Lyght. The idea of Lyght was, it came about during May last year, 2020. So we were in the middle of a very, a bad economy. I mean, because of COVID, things
Yeah.
were not good. But I mean, for Harry and I and our team, we are pretty lucky in a way because we were in Taiwan. So I think the situation here was pretty okay. So it was pretty much business as usual. And I mean, so we had the opportunity to meet one of our co-founders. His name is Rusen. So so we started the company. The idea was in May. We started the company in July, and so it's about maybe 9 to 10 months right now. So the initial stage was really tough because we will, like I mentioned, we were a little bit concerned about the laws, the financial laws, the banking laws in Taiwan, because it's pretty strict. And the last thing that we didn't want to do was to be, to touch onto the security law. And we were being forced to apply for security license, which is not possible at this stage. So we spent considerable amount of time on fixing the legal structure and also to come up with the finance model. And we also spent quite a lot of time to work with our banking partners. So we are proud to say that all the fund flows, let's say someone purchasing the panels and the returns, it's all facilitated through a trust account. So Lyght doesn't touch any of the money. Yeah, and in that way that we are accountable for every cent that comes in. And to answer your question, we spent a lot of time at the beginning of Lyght it's more about the legal, the financial structure, and also the long-term nature of it. And right now, I think we are happy to say that we have done our first project in Taiwan. So we did a very small scale project that we are open only to friends and families. And I think that was a good learning curve for the team. So it was great that we could test out the contracts that we wrote, to test out the tech portal that we built. So we got to get the real user feedback. We got to understand what are the questions that people were facing. And in the event that if we did screw up in any way, because they are our friends and families, so we get forgiveness in that. Yeah, so that was our our this 10 months journey. Yeah.
Wow. Darren, you've been talking for a long time. Harry, do you have anything to add? Also, I think while someone else is talking, I don't know if this is possible, if you can share the screen on Zoom and maybe show us the project and maybe the user interface. I don't know if you want to do that, Harry or Darren, while the other person is talking.
Oh, sure. Let me share a bit on what we've been building right now.
Yeah, that would be great.
Hold on.
While you're waiting for that, maybe someone can answer this. So I know you've started in May last year, and you've had, I guess, this pilot project. Now, what sort of returns are you aiming for?
Returns to mean like for Lyght or?
Sorry, for the returns on the investment. So if you invest in the solar panel, so what are your the expected returns?
All right. So I think Harry will show it a bit, but I could say that in summary, like for our first project, the internal rate of returns it's 5.56%.
Sorry, what was that? 5 point what?
5.56%.
5.56 IRR. Okay.
Yes. And I think Harry is showing the screen share right now. So this is the first project. And we see that the projected average yield is about 9.93%. Because we realized that not everyone gets the concept of IRR. So we had to show the returns on an annual basis. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's basically the IRR is returns over the benchmark. So 9.93 is total average annual yield rate. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Can you maybe, yeah, Harry or Darren, could you talk a little bit about this particular project?
Sure. So this is our first project. It's called Shushen. It's located in Yunlin. So our business model is a bit different from others and in Taiwan, from our competitors in Taiwan. So we actually take a solar farm that's actually generating actual revenue, as you can see in the video right here. Is an existing project, whereas other competitors they crowdfund money and to build a solar farm, but we just we sell the panels on the solar farm that's actually producing energy and selling to Taipower, and we sell it to buyers.
So those roofs, those solar panels on those roofs, this roof here, you're basically selling these to investors?
Yes, and have them written back onto our roof. So what we can provide here is we can provide actual historical data, and we can use that historical data to adjust the pricing and also adjust the returns that the buyer is going to get.
Mm.
So the point that Harry mentioned, that is very critical is that most of our competitors are in a similar place in the market. The way they do it is that they say it's more like an Indiegogo Kickstarter, that they say, okay, so we're going to crowdfund this project. So you could you could fund this project by 10 panels, 20 panels, and we are going to build a solar asset. And but for Lyght is that we onboard projects that are already on grid and revenue generating. So like this project that you see, it has already 5 years of revenue record and performance and O&M records. So we onboard projects that are existing and highly performing. So in that case, that as an investor coming into this project, if you are crowdfunding, you first things first, there is a construction risk that you need to bear. Second is that there's a legal risk that once this project is completed, that it could not, cannot fulfill the on-grid certification with Taipower. And the third one is that the moment you put your money in, there is still a construction phase that you do not get a return. So let's say you got to wait 12 months before your money makes money for you. But for Lyght, it's a bit different because our projects are really on grid and performing. So the moment you participate in the project, based on the next payment cycle of the utility company of this asset, you will get your returns instantly. So let's say you participate in May and our funding period closes in May. It means in June, you will start to enjoy the May's electrical revenue from this asset.
Wow.
And how is that important is that when it comes to solar assets, right? Usually when people are there advertising about solar assets, they just show you the projections that at this place, how many sun hours is it going to be, et cetera, but they usually ignore the technical aspect of the solar project because it's hard for people to understand. So that's where historical data comes in, because you can't really tell people, hey, this is constructed by a very good construction company. That's impossible, right? You cannot measure that, but we can measure it through historical data. So we can actually show our investors or customers that this project is generating the exact amount that we expect it to be.
Wow. Could you talk a little bit about the solar energy industry? You can talk about maybe if your knowledge is only in Taiwan or global, but so just the environment of the solar energy industry, the growth, and what other energy sources is solar replacing?
All right. So I'll let Harry bring up our deck, which has all this information. So while he's doing that, We understand the Taiwanese market pretty well. So let's say, but we got to be really honest. Solar energy, it's not going to be, I mean, at this stage right now, because it only generates electricity in the day when there's a sun. So
Yes.
it's not something that is going to, entirely replace the, the energy source in Taiwan. But what we see right now is that we see that at least in Taiwan right now, renewable energy, so both solar and wind are very strong right now. So there's a huge support from the government. So for us, like, the deck that Harry is sharing right now is that starting from Taiwan is actually a golden period for solar right now. So there is a strong support for this green energy. The government right now has a total solar capacity, a goal for 2025 of 20 gigawatt of capacity of renewable solar energy in Taiwan. And they have done quite a lot of change. So in terms of policies, they have included this green industry into this 5+2 industrial innovation plan. So it pretty much means that there is a lot of tax rebate, there's a lot of help, there's a lot of government policies that people could be part of this innovation plan. And there's a lot of changes in the laws. So for example, in Taiwan right now, there's also a very big shift towards corporate PPA. So for example, just now I was mentioning, a solar assets primarily it sells energy back to the grid, which is purchased by Taiwan Power Company, which is the government utility company. And at the same time right now, we see a huge shift towards a corporate power purchase agreement. It means this solar asset right now is selling energy directly to corporates. For example, our co-founder, Rusen, he's the first one in Taiwan to sell green energy to Apple. So yes, Apple itself.
Wow.
So the one that sells energy to Apple. And that's why, Lyght is really strong in a way that, we have a co-founder with very strong solar background. So he sells energy to Apple. And yeah, that's him, Rusen. So he is deep into renewable energy. Yeah. So going back to the slide previously, so there is a huge transitioning right now. So let's say big companies like Apple, Nike, Adidas are buying green energy on a global basis, and it means that their supply chain as well right now it's also being part. They are also committed to being 100% renewable. So Harry, back to the previous slide on number 6. Yeah. So right now in Taiwan, there's a Renewable Energy Development Act that requires the 800 largest corporate in Taiwan to use at least 10% of renewable energy within the next 5 years. Yeah, so the total consumption within a year, 10% has to come.
Huge tailwind.
Yes, and for us, there's a huge shift for us as well, because for Lyght, instead of selling energy, our assets selling energy to Taipower, we could actually switch to selling to TSMC, Apple, or just corporates in Taiwan. And the sweet thing about this is that corporates are paying premium. So for example, the rate right now in Taiwan is, let's say, 4 Taiwan dollars for 1 kilowatt hour. But TSMC is willing to pay 10% more. So at least 4.4 Taiwan dollars for 1 kilowatt hour. And green energy is like premium energy right now. It's the same thing as Evian water and just a very normal bottled water. So there's premium water and there's like the normal water, and then electricity is the same. Electricity is electricity, but the source, like green energy and gray energy is entirely different. So the market for green energy right now in Taiwan is strong, it's growing. And not to mention even the offshore wind right now, it's crazy. People are pouring millions of USD into the wind, the offshore wind energy right now. So there's actually huge potential for Lyght. We start from solar, we might actually move on to other segments of the green energy market as well.
Yes, that was actually one of my questions. Like, in the future, can someone also buy a wind turbine, right?
Yeah.
Because is it basically like it's the same is it the same model and you just apply it to a different renewable industry?
Yes, in a way, yes. I mean, like we start from solar because firstly, it's a smaller scale. In Taiwan, there is a lot of solar right now, existing projects, and because we are opening this up to the individuals, so our vision is to enable every individual to be carbon neutral. So in order to do that, as an individual, because the nature of solar there is it's a panel and a panel, so it's one panel at a time. So it depends on your appetite or how much capital do you have on hand. So that in a way that you could select a panel at a time. But if you're talking about a wind turbine, so I mean, eventually we hope that, the cost of wind energy, the equipment, it goes down. But right now, as we speak, a single wind turbine itself, that turbine itself, that fan itself, it's going to cost a lot of money. But for solar, at least, we can do it panel by panel. So let's say a panel is about 11, let's say 1100 Taiwan dollars. Yeah.
Sorry, 11,000.
11,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11,000 Taiwan dollars per panel. So that is about, I think, 300 US. Yeah, I think something like that.
So that would basically be around 300 US would be kind of like the minimum investment amount, right? So can an investor purchase just one?
I mean, we are
minimum
open.
amount.
We are open to people purchasing just one. But I mean, if you're talking about the returns to make sense, because it's a long-term investment fund. So what we want to, we encourage our buyers to at least purchase 10 or 5.
Right.
So actually, because if you just purchase one, you're going to get like, in a year, I think you're going to get just a few dollars a year. So it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. Right. It's like buying one share of stock and just getting a little bit dividend. Doesn't make that much sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Wow. That's great. Let's see. So how does Lyght itself make money, the company?
Oh, okay, good. We do have a plan for that. For us, Lyght, we position ourselves as a green asset management company, and also most importantly, we are an impact investment platform. So for us, we do make a commission. So that's the one-time project fee that we make. So for every project that are listed on Lyght, that we do earn, like let's say, for example, for our first project, we earn about 1,000 Taiwan dollars for every kilowatt. So that's our markup fee. So for example, we get a project at a certain cost, and we do mark it up a little bit, and we sell it to the individual's investor. So that's the first source of revenue. And the second is actually the asset management fee that we enjoy from the asset on a monthly basis. So this asset sells energy to Thai Power or big corporate, and every month we take a 4% AM fee from the revenue it generates. So that is a recurring fee. And I mean, the fee that we take is justifiable because our role is as an asset manager, that we ensure that the funds are being used correctly. We ensure that the project is optimally performing, and we ensure that everyone is getting the profits that they are entitled to, and that every cost is spent properly and accounted for. So as an asset manager, that's our role for Lyght in the middle, to ensure that the O&M is done well, the asset is performing well, and that the funds are secured, and the buyers do get the returns on a monthly basis. Well, that's really, really important for us.
Okay, great. So you talked about you have one solar project right now that's operational, and you've been testing that out. Can you talk to us about, let's say, 5-year growth plans? How are you going to expand?
Okay. Harry, you can go to slide 20 first.
Sure.
So, for example, we talk about the next 18 months. So for Lyght right now, we do have a first asset, and actually we do have a pipeline of assets already committed. So right now we have about 30 megawatt of projects that are in a pipeline for the next 18 months that we have lined up and we are going to list on Lyght. So on the asset acquisition origination portion, it's pretty much, we have got that pretty much covered. And to put into some financial sense, what does 30 megawatt means in the dollar basis? It means about 50 million US worth of total GMV of projects. And if we go into our 5 years pipeline, so the next slide, Harry, 21. Yeah, so if we're talking about the next 5 years, I think we are targeting to do at least 2.5 gigawatt of projects. So I think the first 2 years are a little bit more accurate for us. We hope within the next 2 years to have a total accumulated of 30 megawatt. And that actually means, you can take a look at the financials that we have shown here. But I think that is for, more for investors to see the returns, the revenue that Lyght could generate on a 5 years basis. But for us, we are more interested on the timeline that we have came up with, so which is on number 22. So currently, in the next 2 years, 18 to 24 months, we have a target of 30 megawatt of assets. And because we are starting from Taiwan, and within the next 2 to 3 years, we hope to be into the Southeast Asia market, which is in the first market that we are looking for actually should be the Vietnam market or Thailand market. So those are the two markets that we're really interested in. And within the next 12 months, we like to enable anyone around the world to take part in our assets. So right now, at this stage right now in Taiwan, because of the very strict the AML laws, restrictions, the anti-money laundering restrictions in Taiwan, we are keeping it, we're playing it a little bit safe, that we only allow Taiwanese or foreign nationals with a identity in Taiwan and also with a Taiwanese bank account with Taiwan dollars to participate in the project, because the project accepts Taiwan dollars. So let's say right now at this stage, we do have very interested friends, people, investors from overseas with USD, Hong Kong dollar, or even euros that want to participate but are unable to do so. But right now, Lyght is exploring other options, whether it's in fiat or maybe crypto in the future. We could accept that in the future as well, because to make it really, we call it our borderless impact investment. So it doesn't matter where you are from, international buyers could participate in a project. The long-term goal is to be a regional leader in impact investment, so in the Southeast Asia market. Yeah. So my 5 years plan, it's exactly in the Southeast Asia market.
Yeah. Wow, you spoke like a finance guy, because when you said different currencies, I was just thinking maybe explore crypto. Maybe they can invest with using a stable coin, something like that, right? But I don't know what I mean, if you are able to do that, that would really, really open up the market for investors around the world. Have you explored this, and what are the challenges to getting there?
Well, I think for what is happening right now, I mean crypto is becoming more and more welcome. People are opening to crypto, and we saw the suddenly everyone was crazy about NFT when NFT was around for the longest time. Yeah, I think and Harry comes from a blockchain background, so I think over time we've seen the what's that called, the people's acceptance of cryptocurrency right now, and it's becoming more accepted worldwide and becoming more of a daily usage. So I think that in a sense it's helpful to Lyght. I mean, because for us, we are coming from Taiwan, which is still a little bit conservative for the crypto market. So if we start purely from a crypto angle, it's not easy to it's not easy for the regulators or our banking partners to say okay. And also it's and also because of the majority of the crypto companies in Taiwan right now, they're facing the same issues as us. It's people are not willing to understand, not willing to spend a little bit more time to understand what you're trying to do. and it's always very far away from what the public can accept. So that is some of the issues that we are seeing right now, but it's changing. And if we are expanding beyond Taiwan, and it's great because the crypto industry is worldwide, anyone could come in. So right now, what we are trying to, like you mentioned, coming with a stable coin in a sense like that. So I think we do have some crypto consultants. We are speaking to our friends who are very, very much into crypto. They say, for us, like we could actually issue, let's say, an internal credit, a token, or let's say just a very simple point system. Like let's say $1 is 10 points, or maybe €3 is 10 points. So we have like a point system that that is pegged to different currencies. Because what we are concerned right now is about the currency risk. Let's say if you come in USD, euros, but the project pays out in Taiwan dollars. So that's a little bit, there's a lot of risk for us. Like how do we set a fixed currency? So there's currency risk and there's a fluctuation risk. So we might actually start with a point system per se for now, and the points that could be reinvested to new projects as well. So it's like a wallet that you hold. But right now for us, it's more in the planning stage. So I think we are looking at how the crypto industry pans out for Taiwan. And also we are speaking to a few people. And I think the primary consideration right now is more on the fiat side. So we're trying to see if we could do USD across, but if that doesn't really work, we are open to using cryptocurrencies. And there are actually a lot of other companies like solar companies that they do accept like Bitcoin, as an investment into their projects. Yeah, but I mean, we are just concerned about the fluctuation, because what we want to give to the retail investors is actually a long-term stable product. But if let's say the currencies are fluctuating crazily, then it's not something that is long-term.
Right. Yeah.
I would like to add a bit on that. Darren was talking about how crypto can play a role in our future, in Light's future. But why is Light not using it right now? The main focus is that what we're trying to do is really to make impact investment a mainstream. So we want people to focus on the impact instead of crypto, because it's such a hype here, and for most of the crypto companies here, they face a huge regulation risk here. We just passed our new AML law on crypto, so things are changing very fast here. So what we want to do is we want to play safe, and we want to play solid at the start. So we don't want people to say, oh, impact investing, that's new. Oh, crypto, that's another new thing. That's an alarm. We don't want to raise that kind of alarm to people. We want to build the trust from starting with an instrument that they are familiar with. And from that, we can expand our technology roadmap into crypto and into what we're trying to build, which is borderless impact investment.
That's a really good point about, the reputation matters too. You don't want to be seen as another crypto company that's trying to pump the price and all like that. Because like you said, you want this to be more of a stable revenue stream rather than, because once you issue tokens, and if those tokens are traded on the market and speculated, then there's all this price fluctuation, and your entire value proposition of a steady source of income just is compromised there.
Yes, but don't get us wrong. There are players out there that's accepting Bitcoin. We're not saying they're trying to pump it up or manipulating anything. It's that in Taiwan, our fiat system is quite kind of stable and comparable stably. Yeah. But other players, like they're in Africa, and the currency there is not as stable. So in terms of stableness, Bitcoin is more stable than their current fiat currency. So that's why we accept fiat here in Taiwan.
Right.
Coming back to the blockchain technology, I think one very simple thing that we could do is that we're exploring right now is that actually, because let's say if you purchase 10 panels and each panel is unique, it's at a fixed position, it's unique, it has a serial number, and we are trying to maybe make every panel an NFT.
Oh, right.
So
That's
because
a great idea. Yeah.
because every panel is unique, and each panel has its revenue generation history. So if we pack a smart contract to that NFT, and it means that when Harry has his 10 panels, and if we show these 10 unique panels and an NFT, and he has a record behind, so it actually proves to anyone that Harry's 10 panels did produce, let's say, 1 million Taiwan in the last 5 years. Yeah, something like that. So it backs up like the asset, the performance of the asset.
That
So
would be fantastic because just a little, I guess, give a little background about NFT and blockchain is that you're able to basically put the history of that asset on the blockchain. So there's transparency into seeing what that item has, the history of that item and where it's been. So it's a way of tracking an
yes,
asset that you're um, transparently on the blockchain.
yes.
And that's a great idea. That's a fantastic idea if that works.
Because right now we are doing it in the traditional database form. Like every asset, let's say this is the first project. If you bought 10 panels, you'll be assigned like SS001A-1 to 10. Yep, and yeah, that's your project, the block, and your panel ID. And then we actually have a trace, a credit history, a revenue history of each panel. So in the case that Harry trades his panel or he sold his panel to someone else, that someone could actually see that, okay, this 10 panel that Harry did own before has a revenue history of X amount of dollars. So I mean that's something that we could explore. Right now we are trying to see if that's something that we could do as well.
That's great because when you do that, you can actually create an aftermarket for the solar panels. It's kind of like, I don't know, maybe similar to real estate where you're buying and selling real condo units, and then you have the history of that condo unit generating this much yield in rent, and then you can buy it and sell it, and it creates a really exciting, interesting market for this.
Well, I did see your YouTube videos, so
Okay.
I know you're an expert in real estate stuff.
Thanks. Yeah, it's one thing I do. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very interesting stuff that you have. I love the content. Very educational. If you're into real estate, most people would compare our asset very similar to real estate. So for example, people might think we are real estate investment trust, like REITs, but because the nature that we do not sell a security product. So, but the nature of it is quite similar. So in a way that let's say the 10 panels that you own, if you want to, let's say, cash out per se, you could actually sell it to someone else. Yeah. And what we are concerned right now is, let's say Harry owns the panels, 10 panels. After 2 years, he wants to sell. And what we are concerned is more about the price that Harry is selling, and also the price that someone else is willing to purchase. And for us right now, we do not say that, we do not really say that force Harry to sell at a certain price, but we will give to him an indicative pricing, because what we want, what we hope for the panels is to actually do have an accurate pricing. So we don't want Harry to purchase the panels at, let's say, 10K and sell it like as 100K panels. So that actually throws the whole concept, haywire. So we want it. We do tell Harry that this is an indicative pricing that you should sell, but ultimately the decision lies with Harry because he owns the panels, and if he's lucky to find someone who's willing to buy at 100K, good for him. Yeah. So that's something that right now Lyght does not really regulate, because in Taiwan we are not allowed to regulate the secondary market, the after sales of the panels. Yeah.
What is the shelf life of a solar panel, and how does it depreciate in value?
Yes. So as all electrical components, it depreciates in value. Harry, can you go back to the portal? Yeah. So change it to English. Yeah. So for example, let's say we have a calculator. Let's say 20 panels. So let's say on year 1, you look at year 1 to year 15 on the estimated annual returns. It's a decreasing fall. Yeah.
This is available for the investor to look at and calculate on their own, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
So this is our portal that is live right now. So if you sign up, you come in, you can get to take a look at our first project.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So the nature of solar is that, over time it depreciates, obviously. And but because we are doing it as a 15 years project, a long-term project, so over time you actually see it's on average on a yearly basis, it's a very, very stable product. And for each panels, because Harry, scroll down, you could actually look at what we do show in our fact sheet is the manufacturer of our all the electrical components. So you look at the manufacturers here and the EPC. So let's say the solar panels, it's produced by this Jintong Electric Energy Corporation. So the panels that is purchased from them, that they manufacture, they do has a warranty for 20 years that they guarantee at least for the first 10 years is 95% of efficiency. For the next for the 10 to the 20 years, it at least 80% efficiency. So on the component side, right now you can take a look, like let's say even for the VCB, the variable, components here that we have, it's from Mitsubishi Electric. And we do take a lot of pride in the construction quality and also the materials that we use right now. And the most important thing that we need to ensure is that each asset is well taken care of in terms of operation and maintenance. So in the sense that there is monthly or maybe bi-monthly washing of the panels because it get dusty. Yeah, so the panels are being washed. And also because we do have an O&M company that we partner with, that they actually do the daily monitoring. So we do have a system that's on the engineering side that they do take a look at the performance on a daily hourly basis. Harry, maybe you want to show the Big Sun portal so we can let people understand a little bit more on the. You need to go to Trello. So
I'm really impressed by how detailed you are, but not only that, but how transparent you are with all this information. It's all up on the website. You have all these details about the projects and all these calculators. That's really impressive for some people that only started last year. That's really impressive.
Well, Harry, you can show the supporting documents because I think the call that we want to say is that, first is that, Lyght is we provide impact investment products, and at the same time, we are targeting everyday people. So we want to be as transparent as possible. So even in our portal, we will actually show you like the insurance that this asset has. So everything is here. How much insurance is being paid? Everything is here. Harry, you can actually show the fact sheet as well, and also the contract with the utility company, the contract with the landowners. Yeah. So everything.
The contract with the utility company here.
You're not only disrupting energy, but you're also disrupting how energy companies operate, companies in the energy industry operate, because there's so much smoke and screens in traditional energy companies, right? Like there's so much secrecy, but you completely flip that, and all of this is out in the open for the public to see.
Yeah, I mean the main thing that we want to do is that is to be accountable. And let's say if today I'm just selling to institutional investors, then I don't have to show so much. And also because we are selling directly to the retail market, and this means everyday hardworking people with the money they earn. And let's say for our first asset, majority of our investors in the first asset, they are just everyday people. The example I like to use is actually a couple. They are teachers, husband and wife teachers, hardworking people, dedicated their entire life to the students that they teach. And they came to us when they talk about Lyght. They came to us saying that, okay, I have about 200K Taiwan cash right now, and I want to invest in something long term that is fixed, low risk, I don't have so much time to monitor the shares. I don't know anything about shares. I don't know anything about crypto. What's something that is low risk and higher returns than the fixed income products that the market is offering, what 1 to 2%. So I was really happy that I had something to offer to them. I said, would you like to take a look at Lyght, and the first Sushan project that we have. And I think the next morning, I received a call from them, and they said, both husband and wife, we agreed, and we won 20 panels. And these are just real everyday people that we are servicing, and people that are interested. And that means that we have to be really accountable for every penny, every dollar, for every information that we have, because these are money from hardworking people. That is just life saving. They don't know anything about investment, or they know not so much about investment. The risk appetite are not that great. Yeah, so I think the least we could do is to be accountable, and also that we want people to generate income at the same time, knowing that their investment generates green electricity, which is good for the environment. And
we want to provide our daily users, our customers, economic incentive into understanding more of solar energy, about renewable energy, and more about impact investment. And the current scene of the Taiwanese of our competitors is that they're mostly run by manufacturers. They're usually run by green energy producers, the firms. So what they do is they build solar farms. They get your money and build solar farms. They only show you this. They only show you the annual returns. They only show you the annual returns, but they won't show you the historical data. So you will only understand what's happening in the projections, but you won't understand what's happening in before. So we're trying to provide our users a deeper look into how a solar farm runs, and we provide this kind of data. Getting back to our fact sheet, Darren.
Yes, so we do provide a fact sheet, a simple one, both in English and Chinese. We show you like the annual yield projected returns. So for example, like you mentioned just now, is it does it depreciate? Obviously it does. But if you take a look at it, year 1 to year 15, so it starts at 10.44%, and to year 15, that's about 9.44%. So actually the depreciation is not that great. And I think we are very, very transparent with everything that we show right now. So if you take a look at it, this is a solar asset, which is a little bit different from a traditional asset that it might appreciate in value. But what we could, in return, what could we offer is actually a very stable project. So because it's a 15 years project, if you hold it for 15 years, that is the IRR that you're going to get. And actually, we do have a secret weapon right now. The IRR that we show here right now is 5.56, which is an unleveraged IRR. So we are currently working with our banking partners right now to offer at least actually an individual investment product. Let's say if you do, hey, we can go back to the deck. I think we have a slide for that.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. So we can actually showcase that we can offer, let's say, if let's say you only have 10K, you can only buy one panel. So what happens is that through Lyght, you can actually get the green financing option. So for every, we do have a slide here right now. So for example, our first asset, every panel costs $11,660. And on an unleveraged basis, let's say if you buy 100% self-fund, you can only purchase one panel, and your IRR is 5.56%. So let's say if we offer you a lending terms with LTV ratio 80%, 15 years tenor at a 2.97 interest rate per annum, and you could actually see that your out of pocket is only $2,320, and instantly your IRR, your leverage IRR, it jumps up to 13.27%.
So what are you doing here? Are you using the solar panel as collateral?
Yes. So in a way, yes, because we took a concept of a corporate financing and we put it onto an individual. And right now, because the panels you own the panel. So the collaterals are actually the panels itself and the receivable that the panels will be receiving, because the panels have an income source, a committed income.
Right, because it's a cash generating asset that you can use as collateral.
Yeah. And because the nature of how we do is, I mean, Harry can show the trust structure that we have right now. This is not complicated at all. You know, actually, it's pretty simple, because how we structure this, we do have a trust account structure right now with our banking partners that, let's say, for every $100 at the stage one, that, you know, let's say $100 comes in from revenue of sales of electricity, a percentage of it will actually be deducted or reserved in our trust account. So number two will kick in. Let's say 5% is for the VAT tax, 0.6% is for the trust fees, 4% that's our Light's asset management fees, and 6% goes to the rental or the land rental cost, 2% will go to the insurance cost, and 6 to 8% will go to the operation and maintenance. So the cost account for this asset is actually trust account 2, is where we reserve any cost associated with the operations of this asset. Yeah. And after that, let's say $100 come in, $20 is being deducted for all these costs, and then the $80 is being dispersed to all the individual buyers. And that's where Lyght comes in, because we are so transparent that what we market is that $80, that's the 5.56 IRR that you're going to get. So it's inclusive of all the costs. So it's the net returns that you're going to enjoy. So most platforms, they do hide behind the terms and conditions that, okay, this is, you enjoy, like, let's say a 4% IRR on your returns, but okay, when you sign the contract, there are costs that will be deducted, you know, etc., and then your returns go down to 3 point something percent.
Yeah.
So for us, we put it out directly, you know, very transparent, that these are the costs that comes with with any project, and this is a cost that is fixed by percentage. Yeah.
We were talking about leverage, right? So how is this important to leverage? We're trying to bring the corporate financing aspect into our product, but how can a bank issue a corporate loan or similar terms of corporate loan to individuals if they're afraid that they might default, right? So in this case, what we can actually do is we can add a little virtual account here that's for loan repayment and interest repayment, and in here, so the money, so loan repayment and interest repayment won't even go into individuals' pocket. So they won't have to worry about individuals' their own personal credit score. So the money, the loan repayment here will go directly to the bank. So that's how our operational flow can work with the banks in terms of making corporate loan into individual loan. We want to break it down to every individual to have.
So there is actually no chance for someone to default when they take this loan, because the revenue is being paid into a trust, and within the trust structure, we do have any factors that could be have priority to be paid first. So let's say at the top of this cost structure, the first account could be the loan repayment. So loan plus any principal plus interest could be deducted directly from the cost account. So we have actually did the calculation that, you know, with let's say a 13 years loan, let's say LTV 60%, for a first asset, the IRR from 5.56, it jumps up to about 8 point something percent. So it actually makes sense. So that's something that we're working on for the long term. You know, that's where we call ourselves the green tech, fintech. And I think the loan option is actually, the idea for this loan option actually is quite simple. We want everyday people to have the option to purchase more panels, have a higher returns on their investment, you know, instead of just being limited to the cash that they have on hand. And at the same time, we increase IRR. We help our banks, you know, banking partners, financial partners have an interest income. And at the same time, you know, we enable people to buy at a higher volume and have a higher returns. So that's where we took the concept of a corporate loan. We enable every individual to enjoy the nature of a corporate loan, you know, within Lyght.
You're pioneering a lot of sectors here. That's really impressive. Wow. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, that's
my
my
question is, so I guess we're heading towards the end of this. My question is, like I mentioned earlier, Atlas Society, we're a network of not only like-minded people and mentors and investors. And it seems like people can participate in this either as an investor in the solar panel, or now you have this pitch deck here. Are you also looking for investors in Light itself, or just to purchase the solar panels?
Yes. So thank you. Great question. I mean, we are currently in the midst of our seed round fundraising. We are raising about 550K US for a round. So yeah, thank you, Harry. Yeah, so we're raising 550K US for our funding for the next 18 to 24 months of runway. So actually what we are showing here right now is our investment deck. We're happy to share this with anyone who's interested. Yeah, we're looking for VCs, we're looking for angels, individuals, or even corporates who are interested in impact investment on a regional basis. Currently, we are speaking to 3 VCs from Hong Kong, Singapore, and Taiwan. We are hoping to close around ASAP. So right now we have we're waiting for a term sheet, to be honest. Yeah, and I mean we still have some slot open for individuals. So I was speaking to a few people right now. I'm open to more. We are happy to speak to impact funds. Very happy to have individuals who are passionate about the environment, which this something that we want to emphasize. Like Harry, could you go down to the 30 megawatt? What does it mean? Yeah. So I mean, we've been talking about money, the fundraising, how much we could earn. But I think we want to bring the conversation back to, what's the environmental impact? For example, like we have a 30 megawatt goal. And what does that mean in terms of the number of solar panels? That means about 100K solar panels owned. And that's equivalent to offsetting, CO2 from 3,200 people. So our vision is to enable individuals to be carbon neutral. And with our target, we target to have about 3,200 people to achieve a carbon neutrality status with just 25 panels owned. And that's equivalent to, burning 390 million kgs of coal and also charging 99 billion phones. I think that's something that, we want to emphasize, the carbon emissions that we are saving, the number of people that have achieved carbon neutrality. And I think there's something we want to really focus on is on the SROI, which is the social return on investment. There's something in our portal right now that we want to emphasize in the future. So right now it's all financial stuff, but we want to put in, what does your 20 panels generating electricity for TSMC means to the society, to the environment. Yeah, that's something we want to track, the end-to-end effect of your investment.
Wow. You can definitely send us all of this, and we'll link to all of this in the description of the video, and we'll definitely pass on this interview to people in Atlas Society. And seriously, I think I'd love to invite you guys over another time to, if there's like for maybe a Q&A with people at Atlas Society, because this is a really, really innovative and really fascinating project you're doing here.
Thank you. I mean, very happy to share. Whether on a finance basis, tech basis, energy. Well, I mean, our team right now is situated in Taiwan. Okay, maybe could we share a little bit more about the team? I think that's quite.
Oh yeah, sure. Almost forgot about that.
Almost forgot about. Well, I mean, okay, obviously right now the core operation teams are all guys, but we are working hard to interviewing more females. We are gender equality company. We believe in that. So right now, it's all guys. We understand that. Right now is the team. is comprises of myself, Darren. I come from Singapore. I come from a computer science background. Another co-founder, Eddie. He comes from a banking background, starting with HSBC. He's from Hong Kong and UK. Then we have Harry, is from Taiwan. Yep. And our team also comprises of someone from Justin. He's part Singaporean, part Thai in a way. Yeah. So he's in charge of our branding, UI, UX. So all design aspect is there. And we do have Vic, which is our CTO right now. He used to work for Disney in the US. So I think Vic is sitting just behind Harry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself a bit. You want to say hi to everyone? Introduce yourself a bit. Sure. All right. Come up here.
There we go.
Hey.
Great. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Great project we're hearing right now.
Okay.
Great stuff you're doing here. That seems very exciting.
Yeah. All right. So brief introduction about myself. So I'm Malaysian. I studied in the US, majoring in mechanical engineering, with a minor in product design. And then my first job out of graduation is at Disney. And that's where I learned to do a lot of data analytics and starting to get my feet wet into software engineering. And from there, I started moving a lot more into software engineering, as well as data science in general. From there, I sort of wanted to get a lot more into this idea of how can I utilize software, to help to create a better society in general. So that was kind of something of my dream, that is to do good things with technology. How do we utilize that? And that's where I stumbled upon Lyght with Darren and Harry. That's when I really see the value in how do we apply technology into fintech and help create Lyght. As you've mentioned, I'm sure they've mentioned how Lyght works. Yeah. So that's sort of my background.
So this portal is actually built by Vic themselves. As you were saying, we want to make software and data more humanizing in a way. So what we're trying to do here is trying to explain what a solar farm means to regular customers. We will tell them how efficient it is. We want to give them a more human touch into all these. So that's one of the main philosophy that we adopt here at Lyght.
Yeah. So going in with a minor in product design, one of the things that I'm always thought of is that we were taught to try not to think so much about the technology. Try to think more about like what problem are we trying to solve, and with knowing what problem we're trying to solve, then we can kind of try to figure out what kind of technology would better suit the problem posed, right? So that's kind of the philosophy that I've always adopted as an engineer, which is not a very common thinking, I suppose.
Well, what you guys are doing here is really great, very innovative, and it's great to see you guys applying your talent towards impact, a space that really needs talent right now. It's very urgent. Okay, so you got your co-founding team there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people are saying that this is solar. This is a very specialized field. What a bunch of young kids like us doing, in this industry. So that being said, that our co-founder and chairman of Lyght, Wilson, we're very happy to meet him last year. He has many years of solar experience, as we mentioned. He is the only one in Taiwan, the first person to sell energy to Apple in Taiwan. So there's a lot of background on that. It's easily Googleable, in a way. And at the same time, we do have Jasper, which is the head of engineering for our solar aspect. So he brings 30 years of experience in the energy industry. So that being said, we are very well supported in terms of the solar engineering side, technical side. And because the nature of Lyght is very legal and compliance heavy. We are very happy to have 4 angel, at the founding stage. The first day Lyght was set up, we have 4 shareholders, which is David, Andy, Ethan, and Yin Chen. So they're all lawyers of the same firm, partners of the same firm. They are shareholders of Lyght, and they provide us very strong backing in terms of the energy law in Taiwan, renewable energy laws in Taiwan, taxation laws in Taiwan, and also the financial laws in Taiwan. At the same time, we have 2 other shareholders, which is Alan and Jeffrey. Alan brings many years of renewable energy experience in electric vehicles, hydrogen fuel cells, very international background. And Jeffrey, he brings in a huge channel for us in the retail market, because Jeffrey currently is a managing director of the he's the official master agent of the AXA Investment Management in Taiwan. So, well, I think you take a look, the team is strong in the execution. We have the asset origination, which is Rusan Jasper, legal, taken care by our 4 lawyers, and market, Alan, and also the channels, like how do we sell, like that's Jeffrey. So in a sense, that's Lyght right now at this stage. So, we're really happy to be talking to more people who is interested in green energy, renewable energy, and also to be, to be part of Lyght in terms of our equity investment round. Yeah.
Darren, Harry, thank you so much for this session. It was so great to hear the story about Lyght. And to the viewers and listeners, you can learn more about Lyght through the links that I will include in the description. So you can send us this investor deck and the website and all like that, and we'll include it. And if you'd like to learn more about Atlas Society, how we can help drive impact companies, also click on the link in the description to learn about our fundraising programs, mentorships, and networking events. Darren and Harry, thank you so much, and let's talk again soon. This was great.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
for your time.